What does anyone have like something that makes it feel hard? Like what feels hard about it? What's your challenge with harmony when you're singing it? Yeah.
Finding it.
Yes.
Like sometimes I can get it, and then the next line comes, and I try to get it again, and it's just not there.
Right. That's such a. I mean, that's the whole game of harmony, right? How do we stay, you know, with the stack? Does everyone know what that means? The stack of a harmony? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay if you don't. But basically, we have the melody going, and there's certain notes going, and then above that is like the third above, like you go 3 notes above whatever note this person's singing, and follow them, or notes below and follow them. So with that, why don't we take a little bit of that chorus we sang, and I'm going to sing like a line, and I want Amelia, why don't you sing with me with the high harmony, and then we'll talk about what exactly you're singing. So. It wasn't God, it wasn't God who made honky-tonk angels. Okay, let's just stop there. So I was sort of like, it wasn't God who made honky-tonk angels. What did you choose to do? It wasn't God who made It wasn't God who made honky-tonk angels. Okay, yeah, so that's interesting. So she really followed the mountains and valleys of my melody that I was singing just by going just the notes above me. So with high harmony, I find when I do it, and Amelia's better at it than me, but if I don't know where they're going, I can kind of stay in one spot. Like, wasn't God who made honky-tonk angels? Like, you can kind of stay above, right? Just because you don't want to hit the same note. So sometimes if they're dipping low and going high, that melody is pretty, like mountains and valleys is what I'd call it, right? The shape of a melody. So,
and in the case of this song, I'm singing the 5th above.
Okay.
So Laura's the 3rd below, and I'm the 5th above.
You're the
so
5th.
you can hear that perfect 5th, because it wasn't God, that's a G, and I'm singing the C, so it wasn't God. So,
yeah. So I was singing, it wasn't God,
and that doesn't always happen. And like you were saying too, sometimes when I sing high, I do keep that note the same.
Yeah.
So I think, from my perspective, there isn't necessarily a hard and fast rule that you have to follow, where you're like, it always has to be, the 5th always has to be higher, and you always have to follow exactly what the lead vocal is doing. There is a little bit of flexibility with it, and from my perspective, it's very intuitive. Like, it's kind of just your intuition in the moment, and like, I also, like Laura, I grew up singing in church, but I never focused a lot on vocals. Like, I was much more instrumentally focused, so I wouldn't necessarily call myself a trained vocalist by any means.
Yeah, but you're a trained fiddler, which is kind of like being a trained vocalist.
But all that to say, I did study classical music, so chord structure, scales, theory, like I have a good knowledge of that. So I don't know, like for you, I don't know if you play an instrument as well,
Piano and banjo.
Piano's great.
Yeah, if you play piano,
like the chord structure,
when you're looking at those keys on the keyboard, you can see the 1, 3, 5. So hopefully, like visualizing that, I would say would probably be helpful. And that's kind of how I approach, just from a more technical classical standpoint.
And I think I come from the exact opposite. If that feels like, you're like, oh no, I don't have that. I have no training at all, basically, besides like the vocal training I did with vocal rehab and stuff. So for me, it's all instinct, and I just try to stay, above that note. And if it dips, so do I. If it goes higher, so do I. But I find my first place, like, honky-tonk angels. And I'll try that. Sometimes I record it on a voice memo. I'm like, well, that sucks. But you gotta, the way that with any musical thing, I think you gotta start doing it, and then trying to avoid that note. Yeah.
What you can do that I really like to do just to practice it is pick a record or somebody where you can hear. Like, do you sing like a tenor part, like higher? Okay. Pick like bluegrass album band, and there's always a great, like I guess Doyle or whoever's singing a great tenor part in there. Just sing those songs over and over and over again, and sing along with the record. And a lot of this stuff is all the same. Like, they're doing the same
Right.
chords as Honky Tonk Angels, and there's only so many notes, you know? So, like, you're doing those songs over and over again, that's getting ingrained in there, and it'll help you stay, like, above the melody and not, if you feel like you dip back down sometimes. But just doing that constantly, I feel like that helps me a lot, especially focusing on the part that I like to sing a lot, just finding those. And then also pick songs that maybe don't have a harmony on it and just practice singing along with those.
Yeah, I think that's such a good thing to say. I always say this to my students when there's improvising solos, is this isn't like the menu at Cheesecake Factory. Like, there's very limited options here. And that's a good thing, right? Like, we have only to choose from. And even out of that, there's really only that, like, we really are gonna pick very often. So you just know that your choices are pretty limited. So once you find a good note, stick with that and change it just a little bit and see how it sounds. And I think also it's good if you have other friends who are playing and singing to get together with them and kind of like work on that together. Especially if you find someone that you find, oh wow, this person's voice, like my voice just likes to be on top of their voice. Like, I feel like when we met and started singing together, we really didn't talk much about harmony at all. It just happened for us. And I think that's part of the reason why we're here today, is it was really a natural fit for us to be low, middle, high. We do switch it sometimes. I want to talk about what I think about when I'm like singing above you, for instance. But like, find someone that you like to sing with that feels natural, and just practice with that person. And just try it out. And if you like are like, oh, you'll hear it when you hit a unison note. You're on the same note, and you're like, whoopsie. I guess I'll just stick to my note that I was on, right? And yeah, when you're visualizing melodies, like, does anyone think about how a melody looks in their head, or is that just my weird brain? Like for another song we do, let's switch it up, Bury Me Beneath the Willow. Everyone knows this song, right? This is a standard bluegrass song. Bury me beneath the willow under. I think about that arch of the melody. I think about that for soloing, and I would assume I'd think about it for harmony too. Like trying to match that map of the melody as it moves up and down and up and down, and making sure your voice is like, maybe you'll hit something weird, but at least you're trending in the right direction, right? Let's sing that song together, and then maybe we'll isolate that below harmony. See what that sounds like.
Full disclosure, I still hit notes that I'm not supposed to hit when we're learning songs. It's not something where we're always going to be perfect.
No.
And I have to give credit to Laura, because I feel like she's very gracious to me, and she's like, what feels good to you? And I start singing the part, and then she just finds what's missing. She's kind of a little harmony guru.
I didn't know what you're about to say.
So she's the true hero here.
For sure.
She just lets me figure it out, and then she fills in the gaps for me. So.
Also, to me, low harmony is really hard. Like when I'm in the studio singing low harmony, that'll like make me cry more than anything else. When I'm like trying to sing low harmony, truly, I'll have a mental breakdown trying to sing low harmony, but it comes real natural to you.
What I got. Those are cards I was dealt.
In the family, did you sing low harmony in the family band too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Was
helps.
Kayla the high harmony?
Yeah, she would be. This is all tracking. This is all
I'm
making
so
sense.
the youngest child of the band. It's not even funny.
We're recreating our family dynamics every day. I love it. All right, let's sing "Bury Me Beneath the Willow."
All right.
So bury me beneath the willow under the weeping willow tree, so she will know where I am sleeping there, perhaps she'll weep for me. Okay, let's just do you and me. Okay? So bury me beneath the willow under the weeping willow tree, so she will know where I am sleeping there, perhaps she'll weep for me. Oh, it's so
That's a tough
beautiful.
one at the end, right? I don't.
Yeah,
does
what did you do
anybody
at the
else sing like a baritone? Is that yeah? So sometimes for me,
Well, I was singing a different part than you were actually.
oh really?
Fourth, I don't know what it was.
Oh, really? Oh.
I don't know.
Is it
It's
lower?
just, it's like you,
Yeah.
natural. I just
Just
listen
feel
to
it?
doing
Yeah.
what, and I'll pick something else.
And that's okay. We all might pick different notes, but that's what's cool about singing together.
It dips really low at the end, so
Yeah.
sometimes you have to, for me, just do whatever you can make happen, because I can't hit some of those really, really low notes sometimes. So I don't know that I followed you all the way down. to the
Gotcha.
basement, but-
Can we just do that last part?
Yeah.
So she will know where I am sleeping, and perhaps she'll weep for me.
Yeah, I pretty much do.
Yeah, you did.
Does everybody know how, like, if you wanted to sing, like, if somebody said, hey, can you hit that low harmony, do you know how to find your part? Like, if you have never sung the song before and you feel a little lost, do you know, like, some tricks you can do to actually find your note? And if you can hear it, that's fantastic, and that's ideal. I know, me too.
Yep.
But sometimes, like, and I hear harmony pretty well, but sometimes I'm like, what the heck was that? What do I do? And so I just thought of this when we were sitting here.
Yeah.
If you're playing it's in D, you're playing a C chord though. So, I mean, in a C chord, if you know the three notes that make the chord, a C, E, and a G, when you're harmonizing, that's what you're doing. If you've got your three parts, typically you're making that chord, right? So I like to know what the melody is, what your part is. So if you have a guitar or a piano or whatever you play, if you can sort of like hear it, get it out, and I mean even get into the minor details of like you could even write down, that's a C, that's a, whatever the note is, and then you can just follow that, like you said, by the thirds. So if it's, if you're singing an E note.
Yeah, that's, I guess my first note's
probably
an E.
sing a C note, because
Right.
that's the third right below. And if Amelia's looking for her part, well, if she knows Erinn's starting on an E, her first guess would be, well, I could try a G. And that's just, I didn't know if anybody, if you're new to harmony, it could be like, what the heck are you talking about?
So you guys know that, everyone know the musical alphabet, A, B, C, D, F, G, A, B, C, D, F, G?
What about H?
Huh?
What about H?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for saying what all of my 8-year-old students know, which is, where's the H?
Yeah, where's the H?
So yeah, A, B, C, D, F, G. So yeah, that's all, and it's always going to be that circle. So if I'm singing an E, yeah, you think about it, A, B, C, D, E, E, go backwards, A, B, C, D, E, D, C. So 3 below is C, that's what Laura's singing, E, F, G. G's what Amelia's singing. So you can, even if you don't have an instrument, you can kind of think like that. But if you do have an instrument, you can just play your chord, especially if you're a guitar player, it's right there. So if I'm going, I'm on a G.
We're sorry, we're talking
We're talking capo speed. But yes, I'm on an A. So let's just sing that first note. I'm gonna choose. Let's do it like tiered. Like I'll do my note, then you do it, then you do it. So we're gonna hear what
I'm singing the D of above, the fifth above.
So I'm going. Yeah, let's everyone find a note there. I'm gonna sing that first note there, and everyone's gonna find a note, and we're gonna sound beautiful like Tabernacle Choir. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Whoa! Wow, that is gorgeous. It really does. So everyone picked something that worked. That was a beautiful D chord that we were all singing. So everyone's got some kind of musical ear for sure. So that's the first step.
But don't ever feel like that if you can't hear your part, or if you get off, and don't feel bad to like go down to like what feels like, oh, this is so simple and crazy. Because I've thought that, because I've literally done that. I've picked out the melody, written it down, and just like I'm working a math problem on my paper, like, okay, she went to that note, so a third below that would be this, and then I've written out my part, and then I've played my part on the guitar or whatever, so I can hear it. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up, that you can do that if you have time. Obviously, when you're not in the middle of the jam,
Does that work when the melody's not on one chord?
well, That's a great question. It does change, it gets out of that C, E, G, D, whatever. But typically, the melody will be somewhere in the chord. Now, it moves around, but you know how, like, when you're very beneath the willow, you're on a D chord for a while, but you're singing a lot of notes. But
Right.
But within that chord, you can typically find where you're going to start. But that's a good question because she could be singing in a D chord.
Mostly with a banjo player who is from North Carolina, and we had a funny thing where we had to figure out how a Californian and a Carolinian were going to sing the vowels the same way, because we used to sing vowels very differently. And I had a lot of fun imitating the way he sang vowels, and he had a lot of fun imitating the way I sang vowels. Who's ever thought about vowels while they're singing? This is one of my favorite things to talk about when it comes to singing. So, I'm going to give you a few, yeah, what do you want?
Sweet Adeline's, when I sang with Sweet Adeline, you sing vowel to vowel, and everybody has to sing the same vowel, whether you're from, even the Swedish people.
Right.
They have American barbershop vowels, so we don't even sing consonants, we just sing the vowel.
And that's pretty much like what I think is really important about harmony is, and Laura and I were talking about this today because we were singing the Tennessee Waltz. Me and Amelia were backing up our bass player, and we said the S's too hard, and so there was S's at different times, landing on that note, like, I remember the night of the Tennessee Waltz.
Yeah. That's my pet peeve, because that got like drilled into me when I was learning to sing harmony as a kid, so I just hear it, and so little details like that, if anybody's like in a band, because, you know, band harmony, so if anybody's in a group that you sing with regularly, tiny details like that, makes such a huge difference, and it really, it just makes everything so pleasant and nice.
Definitely, it makes it all more cohesive, like where you're a cohesive unit. The best thing about harmony singing is when you sound like you're one kind of voice together. So, but when S's are coming at different spots, it doesn't sound like you're one voice. So, it's, I think you gotta focus on the vowel when you're singing harmony and kind of leave the consonants behind. You don't have to really worry about them too much. So like, bury me beneath the willow wonder, leaf and willow tree. Like I'm not really, if I'm singing lead, I'm putting a lot more oomph. Bury me beneath the willow. I'm putting more like oomph on my consonants. But in general, something that really changed for me when I was rehabbing my voice was I focused way more on how vowels sounded than on the emotion I was bringing to a song. So when I used to sing, when I was like getting injured and stuff, I thought I had to like tear my heart out every performance, and like if I had to feel every bit of that song in order to convey it. Turns out all I had to do was make sure everyone understood my words, and then I didn't have to feel anything. I could just sing, which that sounds bad, but for me, I needed to be in that mode of thinking about words by themselves rather than, because then everyone could feel the emotion in their own way. I didn't have to like eviscerate myself emotionally every night to put on a good performance, and I'm a lot happier now as a result. But so if you think about vowels, there's this really cool way to find out what vowel you should sing that my teacher taught me, and that's called a stutter vowel. So let's say you're singing the word goodbye, like in a Broadway sense, right? Goodbye, right? Like, you know, can't you hear like a Broadway person singing like that? So they're not saying goodbye, right? That's not how they're singing, because you don't want to go, ee. No one wants to hear that. I just did that in Laura's ear. Like, I went, ee, when I stretched, and she was like, that was too much. So how do I make that vowel singable? You stutter on the vowel. So goodbye, I. The actual vowel you need to sing in the word goodbye is Goodbye, I. Goodbye. And when I sing what happens? What we talked about at the beginning. Up, down, everything's this way, like the yawn shape of my mouth. Goodbye. So you take a word like, I don't know, what's another word? Angels, angels. I like to kind of take like A and J sound really different to me. And I think that's what makes words fun to sing. Angels, you know? like I have a friend, she's from Wisconsin, her accent's so cute, but when she sings, all the vowels sound the same. Like that that Wisconsinites get in their speech. And so I've been teaching her to like, you gotta sharpen up each vowel. Like it's not angels, it's angels. How much more fun is that to say? Like you said, it's not said, it's said. Like you said in the words of your song. So when I stutter, I find the vowel that I'm actually supposed to hold. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely.
And that's like one of the most influential things I took from my teacher. It changed the entire way I sang. So one of the things you can do with those breath warm-ups is pick a vowel and stutter on it. So you can go, okay, I'm gonna do and like find what that's gonna do it with that breath. I didn't do it that time. And then E. Even when I do an E, I'm still shaped like this. E, I'm gonna go E. So everyone tells you to say cheese, because it makes you do this. Not when you're singing. E, and then you take that into all of your words. Bear, bury me, It's more of an than a U. So it's deceptive because a word can be spelled B-U-R-Y, but you're actually going to sing it like berry, like the berries on the trees. Bury me. And that's how you can find those really nice places in your voice to open. It's all about opening up your mouth and your resonant chamber to get the best tone out of each vowel. And when you even think about words, not as words, but as syllables, people will understand your words a whole lot better. I had someone message me like 6 years into the band back in Colorado and say, I love your voice, I can't understand anything you're saying. And it really hurt, so I was like, dang, like I really take pride in my songs or the songs that we choose to cover. And so solving that problem of, okay, now people can understand. They don't just like the tone of my voice, they know what I'm saying too. All because I'm thinking about the syllables rather than like the whole sentence, you know? So bury me beneath the willow. I'm like, I kind of don't even know what's coming next. I'm like, willow, how fun is that? You gotta eke out every little bit of juice from the syllables of your words. And I think when you do that, whether you have a tone like Natalie Maines or like Frank Sinatra, you're gonna sound good because you're using the most out of the tone that your God-given tone, right? We all have like tones of voice that we're given, but you can't really, change that a lot. But why would you? It's yours. So you gotta just use it to your advantage, It's kind of like imitating your favorite singers. I also like to think of like, how does Cynthia Erivo say her syllables? She has a different way of saying her syllables than Natalie Maines does from the Dixie Chicks, who's one of my heroes. And when my voice teacher, she was like, well, I'm a Broadway teacher, but you're a country singer, so we're going to kind of pop country pronounce things rather than Broadway pronounce. And I'm like, what? There's a different way you pronounce words if you're on Broadway versus if you're pop country? And so that always blew my mind. I think that's really cool and takes singing that intellectually up to another level of what you're thinking about. So why don't we pick something else to sing and kind of talk about that, like how we're singing vowels and sort of all that stuff. Like, what's another song that's not one we're going to sing tomorrow? So we don't spoil it. Oh, well, Long Hot. We can't do that.
We should do that as a context of like, we can sing.
Yeah, okay.
They're cool.
They're
And
cool.
we could do it because we can explain about
I flip, and this is me singing harmony. I don't sing lead on this song, I sing harmony, so I sing different. When I sing lead, I project a lot, I pronunciate a lot, but I have a naturally loud voice, as you can tell. I have a really hard time controlling the volume of my voice. But when I sing backup, I pull back a lot to blend with whoever it is I'm singing with, right?
Do you want to do, before we do that, so we can stay on, I think this topic, do you want to do like the course of your love, and then we can talk about the vowels on that?
Sure.
And then we can go,
Okay, yeah, let's do your love. So this is the vowels, because you guys are thinking about vowels on this song.
yeah, so in the harmony context, typically everything Erinn is talking about is so important for the sound, and she's typically singing lead for us. She's on the melody, and so what Amelia and I try to do is follow her and also let her kind of dictate how those vowels sound, and we try to match her because she's singing the verses typically by herself with the middle chorus, and all the little details like when to cut off words like the S thing. What we can do is we can adapt an S and like not, we don't have to finish it. We can let Erinn do all the S, and we can just, what's a S? No, angels. It wasn't love who made honky tonk angels. We can kind of
just say angel.
we don't do the S and let Erinn do all the S. So if you're the harmony singer in your band, you're kind of just, you're padding what's happening in the melody. So maybe this song will be a little bit different
It's also fun.
than that.
Yeah, okay, so. Josie's on a vacation far away. This classic bluegrass hit.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk it over. So many things that I want to say. You know I like my girls a little bit older. I just want to use your love tonight. I don't want to lose your love tonight. Yeah, so I'm the only one putting the T on tonight for sure.
Yeah. And then like use and lose.
Yeah.
Those are ones where the S needs to be coming from Erinn, not from us. Because like we were saying with Tennessee Waltz, you're gonna end up having a lot of like little hisses coming through those microphones. And
You just kind of go you. It says I just want to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you-
sounds
you-
weird. Like
it
if
sounds
I were
dumb
to
by
just
yourself.
sing it by myself,
When
you
it-
guys would be like,
We were laughing at when we were recording our latest songs, like we isolated the harmonies.
Oh.
It's pretty funny
That's
for some
the
reason.
worst thing you could ever do to yourself. is listen to just your part when you're singing harmony, because you're not. I don't know. I may be the only one, but like when I'm singing harmony, I'm not really focusing on my note sounding so beautiful and so crisp, and I don't know. I'm focusing on blending it because that's our job in using harmony, is to blend it and make it all one piece. So when you hear that, now if you're singing the lead and the melody, when we hear hers isolated, we want to hear like the
It
details.
better be beautiful.
But when you listen to mine, it's like it's horrible.
But it's weird because like we'll
But I
isolate
wouldn't
them.
sing like that if I was singing lead. It would sound different.
Right, you kind of change up like the way you're singing. Like your point in singing, your mission is so much different when you're singing harmony than when you're singing lead. And it'd be funny because we isolate the harmonies and laugh, and then we put it all together. It was like, whoa! Like it'd be an explosion of like just beautiful singing. But that's because it's just that is such a different role. Whereas if you're singing lead, that's when you want to crisp up everything, listen to those vowels, kind of make those shapes. So maybe I'm gonna sing a little softer so that they can really hear you guys sing that, and we're gonna sing that chorus again. I ain't got many friends left to talk to. Nowhere to run when I'm in trouble. You know I'd do anything for you. Stay the night and keep it undercover. I just wanna use your love tonight. I don't wanna lose your love tonight. Wow, so you can hear how beautiful that blend is, and how there's nothing hard, there's no hard edges, very rounded, and they're also really together too in where they're ending. We talk about that a lot when I practice. Like, I feel like the notes always come easy to us, but sometimes like, oh, how long do we hold this note before we're out? Because sometimes I'll still keep, the lead will keep going, but the harmonies have to end at the same time. Every day you work on the Illinois River, get a half a day off and pay. On the tugboat pulling out barges on a long hot summer day. So that was, we ran into that problem and we're like, well, how do we do that? And so that's how we decided to do it. And it keeps the stack, and it kind of, but I don't think it jars anyone out of the
No,
experience.
you would, I don't know that they would know it.
I don't think anyone knows that anything changed, you know, because we're flipping voices.
There's still a really high note up there. It's just.
Oh, that sounds good. We'll play some for you.
Is there anybody here who likes astrology? Okay. You're the astrology girl, tell them.
I'm the astrology girl.
Yeah. tell
This
them
is about Scorpios, which is mid-October through mid-November. Anybody born mid-October, mid-November? Oh, yes, my breath queen. I'm not a Scorpio, but both my sisters and my mom are, and my boss. All Scorpio women. So I'm very aware of how to stay on a Scorpio's good side. And this is also just a song about my boss and her life. She moved from Indiana to Nashville. Had never met a fiddler in her life, but played violin, and moved to Nashville at 31 in the 90s and learned how to be a fiddler and was in a Celtic rock band touring around for 10 years. And now she owns the music center I work at. And she's just kind of living in this cabin in the holler, but you can see the crazy girl that used to be, I guess. So this is about her. Fire in her eyes, whoa. Born in October, this baby's a surprise. Grown in the ground of a Rust Belt town. Smokestacks and train tracks, not much else around. Tramped up the shore, Indiana's a bore. Set off at 16, wouldn't let the door hit her as she left. In the city she slept. Harleys and barflies, lullabies back then. If you know, you know, a Scorpio. Don't you upset her, she'll burn if you let her. Taking every part, learned all the songs by heart. Toured across the country, sat in with the stars. Heard her lover sigh, she by his side. Fiddling and whiskey, kept her out all night. If you know, you know, Scorpio. Don't you upset her, she'll burn if you let her. The love she breaks comes a sting, misunderstood. But if you're good, she'll keep you forever. You know, you know, you know, you know. Now she's living in the hills in the morning, so tranquil. But if you get too close, you can feel the fire still. If you know, you know, Scorpio. Don't you upset her, she'll burn if you let her. The light she brings comes a sting, misunderstood.